And our ancestral territory, I usually tell people, extends from basically the Strait of Juan de Fuca, so out in like Sequim, Port Townsend, all the way through the San Juan Islands, including Whidbey Island, Fidalgo Island, and part of Camino Island. And then it goes beyond that into the Skagit River Valley from the mouth of the Skagit River, which is where the Lower Skagit village was located. And then we had relationships beyond that basically up into the Cascade Mountains. And myself specifically, my dad actually comes from Eastern Washington. The Colville Confederated Tribes is what they're known as today, but my ancestry is from the Arrow Lakes Okanagan. So really, my ancestral territory is basically that entire region, including from the southern tip of Vancouver Island, the Songhees, the Esquimalt, the Saanich, the Nanaimo, and then across, even including the Fraser River with the Chilliwack people. So my ancestors occupied much of this region, and you find that pretty common with a lot of people in my community, that our ancestors went beyond just where we are today. We're really, I feel like we're kind of, I mean, obviously in our history, we were forced onto this reservation, and that was taught to us, like our ancestors reserved this land for us, like that was their understanding of the Point Elliott Treaty. And it was a really crazy time, I mean, even just a century ago, our people didn't even have adequate housing. Our people were still living on float houses. Our people were being arrested and chased off of areas that we were accustomed to harvesting in. And one specifically is we had a 14-mile long oyster bed from what is now known as Bayview to Blanchard. And that is just one method that our people cultivated the natural environment sustainably to provide food for our people. And so you find that across our territories, that we had different relationships with different places in different seasons. We weren't always just in one place like we are now. We had our winter longhouse, and then hundreds, maybe even thousands of cattail mats that had been woven by the tribe for the people to use throughout the warmer seasons to travel, whether it was following the fish, going to pick berries, going to harvest camas. There was always food for our people, and today, I mean, we're basically in like a food desert. We don't have access to a lot of these foods anymore. And so I guess a part of this conversation that I'm really grateful for is that it's something that we're reestablishing. We're reestablishing our relationship with our relatives, specifically the oysters. We, for so long, we hadn't really had a relationship with them, and now it's really coming back with the Shellfish Company. It's something that you find on our table more regularly, which is that's what it's all about. That's what we're working for, is to be sure that we have access to all of our first foods, because it feeds and nourishes more than just our body. It's the spiritual connection that has been a part of our lives since time immemorial. We've had a relationship with the oyster since the beginning of time, and we were able to depend on them when food was scarce, through the winter seasons when the fish aren't running, or when you're not able to go out and harvest big game because they drop their antlers, and the mamas are carrying the babies. So there's times to harvest and there's times to not harvest, and oysters were always there for us when we needed it, and that, along with the clams, like they were really important foods for our people to nourish our bodies and really sustain us through times of need. So that's why it really is an important relationship for us to have. But I mean, it's just another thing that was stolen from us with colonialism, the displacement of our people from our homelands. That was huge. That was devastating. And we're still experiencing the impacts of that on all levels, from food security to housing. Like it's all connected, and it all goes back to the displacement of our people. So there is a lot of struggle, but there is also a lot of success and resilience and beauty and just happiness and love, really, with being able to reconnect and work together to bring these things back.